So CLNV is looking massively bullish. Let's go ahead and go over the potentials for the following days. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with a CLNV technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this Sunday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community and Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so we're looking at CLNV on the daily chart here. And of course, we were talking about this potential breakout based on this, broadening descending wedge that we recently found, right? So we were talking about the potential of us making a continuation to the upside. We have gotten that thus far, and the fact that we were sitting within the golden pocket has yet again proved worth its while, right? And now we're getting that upside continuation. Although, please do notice that we are at an inflection point. Lots of resistance and previous supports there as well, right? So we're just going to have to combat this zone in order for us to continue to the upside. So per the playbook rules, we're looking for let's see, we're looking for a take profit target to be right at about 477, right? So 0477 is around the area that we're looking for an overall target. But if I'm going to be very clear here and very, transparent, I can definitely see a continuation to the upside, potential rejection at that 412. Then we would actually face a pullback to test the golden pocket yet again, and then we can actually get a true breakout, right? So just to kind of put it out there in that manner, right? So if we do that, then the likelihood of this inverse head and shoulder that we've been talking about could actually happen, right? And then that would take us to a pretty substantial upside, of which has a very confluent target that has that 477 in mind. In fact, it would land right in between the 2.618 at 504 and the 2.272 at 477, right? So I want to go ahead and if you're a regular viewer here in the ARCa channel, then I'm going to take you back to some other charts that we've looked at prior in the past, right? Of things that we were already looking at that led to the price action that we actually faced over the last weeks, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of those charts, right? So this is a macro time frame falling wedge that we've actually looked at before, and we did notice that we had this top side and we had a breakout of it, and we also had a test to the bottom side of that support, right? We also talked about this. I mean, this was probably 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we talked about this about 3 or 4 months ago. And I was mentioning to you that I did not like that we were printing these long wicks to the upside. That usually ends up being a pretty bearish formation. In fact, it was. So this is a monthly iteration, 3 black crows, right? So this right here marked the 3 black crows, and this was the confirmation candle before we continued on to the downside. But the downside was absolutely needed. And why was that needed? Well, take a look at that very perfect bounce that we got here on the current month. We're talking about diving down to the area of about 250 here, and then an immediate rejection from that bottom side. In other words, this is the test and the validation of a newly converted resistance into a support, which is very curious that we got that massive bounce to the upside from that. A very important thing to notice here, okay? The monthly candle that we're currently on is set to close in 4 days and 16 hours. Closing this candle above this area here would be ideal, of course, above 408. It would be highly ideal to close it above the opening of the prior candle. The secondary target that we want would honestly be upside of the closing valuation of this candle, which is anything upside of 361. Okay, so that would mark a pretty bullish statement. A lot more bullish if we actually face this 408. But that 408 target, which has a space body to body, right, 408 to, let's just go ahead and draw it in just like this, right? So 408 to the bottom side of this body here to, let's just say 417, is incredibly important for us to break out of, right? So, and I'm going, and please remember those targets, okay? Remember these numbers because we're going to hear them again. 408 to 417, all right? So, yeah, but regardless, you guys, this is a very bullish breakout, right? It is the monthly time frame, so it is going to take some time, but there are price objectives for us to evaluate. This being the first candle breakout upside of the resistance zone, we can take a trend line from that breakout zone and then apply it to that breakout area, right? And this would give us a potential target to look at. It was suggesting a top side of 1139. We ended up getting 1273. So geometrically, that's good. The next one is actually from the center of the triangle all the way to the bottom side of the triangle right here. And this is your target number 2. Apply it to the area of breakout, scooch it slightly to the right. This is suggesting a top side of about 1960, right? So which is literally right around this zone here. Okay, lots of relevance within that target as well. Okay, so now the third set, which would be your third set of bulls, would be taking a trend line from the top side of this wedge all the way to the bottom side of the wedge right there, and that would essentially lead price action to a pretty high valuation, right? So let me just make sure that we can align that bottom side down there pretty nicely. Actually, we can still, my OCD is absolutely killing me here, you guys. I just want to make sure that it does look pretty straight down here, right? So, okay, so that target would be around 6206. Okay, so massive upside based on this. I definitely see it possible since it is the fact that is, the monthly iteration here, and also the fact that this would be a resistance zone to look at, right, or to keep into consideration. So we're gonna mark it off just like this, and also just keep it in mind, right? So actually I'm going to mark it off to the top side of the wick right there. Huge resistance level that we would have to combat within that zone. Okay, so now let's get a quick little validation here with some fibs and see what we have. So the top side of this candle here is 1283. So let's take that into consideration. 1283 right up here, or 1280 is fine. Let's take that from the range high to the current. Let's just actually put it. Oh man, we're not even going to reach all the way up there. We're going to have to take into consideration a deeper fib. All right, why don't we do that? Actually, let's go ahead and take into consideration maybe. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just do the whole thing. Let's do it from here. Actually, okay, yeah, from this target, this top side right there, right? So we're going to do that swing high to the overall swing low all the way down here. And the topside target here of 62.41 has a lot of rhyming with the 2-spot 618 at 57.93, as per expected, right? So very good. It is following some geometrics as well, right? This target here is upside just under the 1 fib at 22.87, and this target right down here, which was almost fulfilled, is actually landing in the golden pocket at about 1139, which is close to the 0.5 at 1204. Geometrically speaking, it is looking good. Okay, you guys, so please remember that these targets are just psychologically backed. I have not backtested this upside whatsoever. So now let's go ahead and throw it back one more time. And this is essentially, it's not regarding the backtest, right? Because we're not actually contracting from any critical point right now. Right, but this was the back test that we actually measured, and we got. I mean, we saw a 4,300% move to the upside, of which we got a 254% move out of. Right, so it was actually from the beginning of this candle here. So right at this iteration, when we start the contraction phase beneath the 90 percentile of volatility, right, and we started getting that upside pivot on stochastic momentum right down here. Right, that was the firing of the signal. And what's curious is that if you can see that firing of the signal, which is this candle right here, that candle is just so happens to land at 367, right? So let me see the bottom side of this. The low is actually it's landing right at 300. You can see on the L right here, right? So 0300. Here we go. And that's where it is. And the price action is where? 0367, just upside of that very target that we faced, this huge move to the upside. So we're converting that opening valuation into a support. So hopefully we can do that. Right, you guys? So anyway, let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here because I do have something else to show you. Okay, so, and I wonder, okay, so yeah, you know what? I really wanted to see if I can actually make that target correlate. Right, the monthly target, the one that we were talking about right down here, or even in this, let's see. Okay, anyway, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to that target if it does come up one more time, right? So anyway, yeah, you guys, this is very curious. This is that chart where we actually came back. I wanted to throw back this to you because we broke out of this, and I mentioned a couple times back months ago that it's important for us to consider the possibility of coming back to validate and confirm the newly converted resistance into a support before a continuation to the upside, of which is happening. Right. So, you know, I mean, it was, I don't want to say that it was expected, but I wanted to say that we also had it in mind if we were to have followed the analysis since, you know, we started covering this. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go over the last part of the analysis here, which is the RSI. And we're going to look at divergence here. Okay. So divergence is represented right now by the difference between price action, or the opposition between price action and momentum. Momentum represented by the RSI indicator. Okay. So anytime that you have a higher low structure in price action paired with momentum making lower lows, that is actually a drive of a hidden bullish divergence variety, right? So it would be this right over here, higher lows on the price action and lower lows on the momentum indicator. Okay, so why I'm mentioning this is because we have validated one drive of this. This is the 5-day candle, guys. This is huge. Okay, so we got that validation. It's absolutely about to break upside of the 14-day simple moving average. And the reason why I'm really bullish on this is because we're about to close this 5-day candle tomorrow. 14 hours and 55 minutes. This is going to close, and it's going to look pretty good, right? So it's going to be a pretty bullish statement closing this 5-day candle upside of the previous opening valuation of the previous 5-day candle, right? So that opening valuation is 324. I know we're just like a little spit away from that, but it's looking not bad, right? So now let's go ahead and refer to the rest of the moving averages to see, or the rest of the RSI, just to see what we have in store for this asset, right? So let's see the bi-hourly time frame. Oh, did I have some? Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm going to load the bi-hourly there. We're going to keep into consideration the 6-hour here. This would be the 12-hour. We'll have listed the 3-day, but we can look at the bi-daily too, right? They're almost the same, and the 3-day has made the cross. Very nice. Okay, so yeah, 30-minute time frame right over here. We're going to start off with that. So I want you to notice here that the position of the RSI signal is getting very close to the gravitational zone of the bullish control zone, right? So we definitely want to get ourselves right within 2% of the edge of this, which is 70%, traditional standard RSI setup, by the way, right? And we're already getting a nice indication that we have an upside suggestion from the SMA 14 within the RSI, looking good. All right, so now going and moving on to the bi-hourly time frame, same situation, getting close to that gravitational zone, using that SMA 14 as a guide, and has a massive upside thrust. Massive upside pivot or posturing thus far. So that looks good. Okay, 6-hour time frame in the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile. Very likely for this to actually continue to the upside, but it doesn't look to be continuing to the upside violently. It looks very, very, very I don't want to say weak. I just want to say that it looks like it has some work to do, right? You can also see it here on the 12-hour, even into the daily, right? The daily looks actually pretty nice, right? So anything up to the daily, all the shorter time frames are still getting that validation for a more for a stronger move to the upside. But daily time frame and the 3-day time frames are looking absolutely bullish. The 3-day time frame is above the moving average now, so that is very bullish. And now the 5-day time frame is potentially going to cross this, right? So if we do get those closures, like I said, in the 5-day candles, right? Oh, right back over. I forgot which one we were talking about, right? If we're getting a 5-day closure above the area of 321, then yes, we would essentially make a bullish statement, and the RSI would reflect an upside and a break upside of the SMA 14. Keep an eye on those things, okay, you guys? Please remember, first and foremost, that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, okay, you guys? I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will will be cool, right? So just actually, you know what? I'm going to give this just one more little gander here. I want to see if we can pull up the, let's see, the Gaussian channel, wherever in the world that may be. Here you go. All right, I wanted to see this in the upper time frames to see if there's anything of relevance within this, right? So just kind of bear with me here and see if we have anything to talk about. Well, we do. My goodness. Okay, so right, this is the target that I was talking about. For you to keep in mind, right, the space between we said right over here, 408 to 417. Right, so that's that space, that target just happens to be right back here. Check this out. The mean band resistance is at just at about 403. So yeah, I'm thinking that in the weekly time frame, which by the way is going to be closing or already closed, we're suggesting an upside continuation here to around that 402 before a retracement, and then we'll see what it has to offer, right? But yeah, so geometrically, statistically, psychologically, everything is kind of leading towards a continuation to the upside, right? So I can see now why we're kind of slowing down into that mean band is because we're about to face a resistance, right? So now if we go down one time frame, also here, right, it's showing that we have a potential upside. Now as we move down from that, we could be at a breakout zone or not, right? Nice. This is suggesting 499 on the top side of the 3-day. And 499 would be right around here. Okay. All right. And the buy daily is about to claim the inside of the Gaussian channel again. Okay. So very likely the daily time frame is why we stopped right where we did. Right? Because twice now, right? Because we're using the Gaussian band, the bottom side, as a resistance. Very curious. This is something that we should keep in mind. Notice this 12-hour time frame finally breaking inside of this. Okay, so this is very nice. Okay, there's a setup happening here, and it's happening ever so slowly. So and yeah, again, we're getting that 4-cent target, right? That would be the pullback to come back and validate the 355 as an area of support, the mean band, right? So, and this is why it's turning green, is because we're finally breaking upside of it again. So historically speaking, when we do break upside of this, there has been some pretty substantial moves to the upside, of which we should keep in mind, right? So even right here, right? So that's the one that we spoke about just now. Yeah, even up here. Breaking out of this led to a move up to right at about here, and then validated that mean band, and then a huge explosion to the upside. So yeah, we should definitely keep in mind, just whatever it is. Here's another breakout. The price action broke to the upside of the mean band, came back to validate the mean band before a continuation to the upside. Again, huge upside thrust. So there has been some pretty nice historical moves to the upside upon us validating that mean band, right? So just so that you know exactly where we are, again, go ahead and take a look at it for yourself. Yeah, we're getting a very clean break here with some extra volume of which we haven't seen in some time. Very good stuff, okay, you guys? So now, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana, team. Adios.